Yo, what's up guys? It's Bullet or Loyalty Points, whatever you want to call me. And in this video, I'm going to be releasing my Magicka Templar PvP build. I like to call this build Absolution, and it performs really well in open world, small scale, and even duels if you use it correctly. Now, a few things I have to say about this build up front is that it's not very expensive to make. You are using light armor, which makes you squishy, but the sustain and damage is really nice, and in the right hands, you'll be perfectly fine. And the damage excels really well. At first, let's get into the stat sheet. Alright, so we have 37,369 max magicka, 2,683 spell damage, 1,671 magicka recovery, 2,156 critical resistance. Now, the budget still I'm using is the 8 notch. It really helps our magicka recovery and our sustain overall. For food, I'm running tri-stat food, increases all 3 main stats. It's really nice. Now let's get into the skills. On our offensive bar, or dual wield bar, our first skill is Vampire's Bane. This is a really nice dot, does a lot of damage, also snares the enemy. It grants us major prophecy, increasing our spell critical, which is nice. Our second skill is Structured Entropy. This is used for a spell damage buff. It grants us major sorcery, and it also increases our max health. We can also use this as an empowerment into any skill and or ultimate. Now my third skill, I'm using Proxy Det. You can bend the skill around, change it for Javelin, Toppling Charge, Dark Flare, Total Dark, or even Inner Light if you really want to. But I prefer Proxy Det, especially because, you know, Zerg's out there. Our next skill, you all know what it is, Radiant Oppression, Jesus Beam. Nothing to say about this skill. It's massively overpowered, yeah. And our last skill is Puncturing Sweeps. Pretty much the main DPS of the Templars. Also gives some nice heals, especially when enemies are stacked in a clamped spot. Now for our ultimate, I'm running Shooting Star. And this does a decent amount of damage. And the ultimate back is really nice. You could go with Ice Comet, but the ultimate back is just too good to give up on a large amount of enemies. And yeah, this and Structured Entropy with the Mage skill passive increases our maximum magicka and recovery. Now into our back bar, defensive bar. First skill is Channel Focus. Now last patch I did run the other more because I made this tankier, but this patch with all the reduced cost changes, it's really mandatory and it helps us sustain a lot. So I really like this skill. Extended Ritual. This is the better morph of the two because this cleanses up to 5 effects. The other morph only does 2. The damage isn't worth it. So this is your purge pretty much. Elusive Mist, because Templars lack mobility, unlike Sorks. And you take 75% less damage. So it's really nice. And then Honor the Dead, or Breath of Life, what you want to call it. This morph, I believe, is better than 2. It helps us sustain a lot as it refunds the magicka cost. And it doesn't cost that much, but it's really nice. And then for our last skill, I am running Purifying Light. Now, I know a lot of Stamina Templars run Power of the Light. I don't know why Magicka Templars don't run this skill. It's amazing, and it does amazing damage. You can flex this for a couple other skills, but I prefer to keep this on for maximum damage output. For our ultimate, I'm running Devouring Swarm, as it heals and does damage. Now let's get into the gear. So as my 2 swords, I'm running 2 swords of Julianos, both gold, both sharpened. One has a spell damage enchant, and the other one I don't have enchanted currently, but I will. You can put whatever you want on this. Back bar, I'm just running regular 2 Magnus. You can change this for whatever set, doesn't really matter, just your defensive bar. For the shield trait, I would recommend Reinforced or Impen. I do have Nernhone, this is just from a couple of patches ago when this was one of the best in slot traits. But yeah. On the headpiece, I'm running Engine Guardian. That is the 2-piece I'm running. It really helps our sustain. I'm running a light head and a heavy armor shoulder. I need to get a medium head for the 511 Undaunted passive, but I'm doing pretty fine with that for now. For our chest, we're running a light robe of Julianos, impenetrable. Waist is War Maiden. Now this set is amazing for damage, and it's not very expensive, and it's not exactly cheap. I do have a divine spell, obviously you're going to want impenetrable. I'm also running gloves of Julianos and breeches of Julianos. So the legs, hands, chest, and the 2 swords make the Julianos on our front bar, which is our main bar. So that's what we need it on. I'm running War Maiden shoes. This is reinforced. Once again, you're going to want impen. I'm running the necklace and 2 rings, which completes the 5-piece set. Now for glyphs, it's a little different this update. I'm running 1 spell damage, 2 magic recovery. This really helps to sustain. And don't worry about your damage getting low, because with War Maiden and Julianos, you can barely even tell the difference with 2 magic recoveries. And if you're having sustain issues, you can even put on a 3rd one. Your damage will still be perfectly fine. So again, the build is 5 Julianos, 5 War Maiden, 2 Engine Guardian. Now let's get into the CP. Now this patch is a lot different with CP, so this is what works for me. It may not be the best. Then again, I find it to work. I have 37 into Warlord, 43 into Mooncalf, 75 into Arcanist. And for anybody that doesn't know, you're never going to want to go more than 75 points into one champion tree, or not champion tree, into one champion passive, because from 75 to 100, you're only getting a 1% difference, so it's not worth it. Running 45 in Shadow Ward, 10 in Tumbling, 19 Blessed, 50 Elfborn, 25 Spell Erosion, 75 Elemental Expert. I have 10 in Master at Arms. I still have yet to test this CP passive, but this works for me, so. And 31 Thaumaturge. Now for the red tree, I have 23 Ironclad, 62 Resistant, 11 Thick-Skinned, 57 Hardy, 57 Elemental Defender. So that's it for the build, guys. Remember, you are in light armor, so you're going to be a little squishy. But also, I forgot to mention, with the sword and board passives, it really helps with the blocking and the shadow ward, so it kind of makes up for the light armor, because you can block for a decent amount of time. And if you even want, you can take off the Devouring Sword and put on the shield or sword and board ultimate. It really helps, and it reflects spells once you morph it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the build. Remember, Absolution. And I hope it helps you guys in your Magicka Templar. Thanks for watching.